YouTube, what is going on? Your boy Young Mustard is back with another video, and I am here with the Q&A that I know a lot of people have been waiting for. People have wanted me to do this for 5,000 subs, but I said let me just wait because I think 10,000 subs I'm gonna get there a bit more faster, and here we are at 10,000 subscribers. Thank you to everybody who has helped me get here. Thank you to everyone who's helped me on Twitter, because I know I've asked some people to help me with retweets and likes and things like that to share. Thank you to Bean. Thank you to Not Say, Athletic Affairs, NBA Buckets, NBA Jump Shot, All Access. Thank you to every single person who has helped me on the podcast, the Discord, Beat Souls, Legend of Winning, SDC. Every single person who has supported me. Just shout out to the Discord. I'll put the link down below. Make sure you join the Hoop Talk City Discord and follow the Instagram page. You know, shout outs to everyone who's helped me reach this goal, my friends, my family, everybody. Now, without further ado, follow me on Twitter, follow me on Instagram, and add me on Snapchat. The link will be down below. And let's get on with question number 1. First, we're going to start off with a Twitter question from NBA Jump Shot. He DM'd me a whole bunch of questions, but I'm only going to pick 2 out of the 5 questions that he DM'd me, because the other questions, I think I'll answer them in another video. And the first question he asked me that I'm going to answer is, amongst the power forwards, where do you think Anthony Davis will end up ranked all time? Now, honestly, when it comes to Anthony Davis, he could be ranked anywhere throughout history among the power forwards, because when you look at the talent, I do believe he's better than a lot of these power forwards on the top 5 list in their position. He's more talented than Dirk, in my opinion. KG defensively, you could argue, was better because he does have that Defensive Player of the Year on his resume, but Anthony Davis, his ability to guard every single position at least a solid level and at an elite level at times, because he can't keep up with some guards and forwards, and he can defend the paint just as good as anybody I've ever seen. So he really has the potential to be up there defensively. And if he can get that Defensive Player of the Year award, he could outdo Kevin Garnett in terms of the accolades in that area. We all know he's an All-NBA defender. Offensively, I do believe he's better than a lot of these power forwards all time, because the thing about Anthony Davis that we forget is that Anthony Davis, when he needs to score, he can average like 35 points a game. I mean, we saw what he did against the Warriors, how he lit them up in that first round series. So I think he can be up there. I'd say top 5. I think he can definitely be top 5. I could see him being at least a top 20 to 25 player, and that definitely puts him in the top 5 power forwards. I can see him overtaking Dirk, but he just needs to have a little bit more success, because I hope Anthony Davis can get some playoff success, and right now he is struggling for that 8th seed, and I'm praying they get into the playoffs. But the problem is, if he gets into the playoffs, it'll be the same thing that happened last time he got into the playoffs, and he'll most likely get swept in the first round by either the Rockets or the Warriors, and it sucks. Now, the next question NBA Jump Shot asked me, that will probably be the last question I answer from him, is how many players throughout NBA history have changed the game, and who are they? A lot of people have actually changed the game. Let's look at Bill Russell. Bill Russell changed the game. Apparently, jumping to block shots was not even a thing until Bill Russell came in the game. He definitely changed the game. Wilt Chamberlain changed the game, and I know those are players that obviously did. I mean, they were in the beginning, but when you go on further into the league, I mean, look at Mark Price. Mark Price basically made an ideology of basketball, or how to play it. He cut through screens, you know, things like that, splitting screens. Look at Penny Hardaway. You know, apparently he influenced LeBron James. He changed the game. I mean, Steph Curry, that's someone of nowadays. He completely changed the way we play basketball, and I think his impact may have been arguably the biggest impact since, you know, the Bill Russell and Wilt Chamberlain era, because for someone like Steph Curry to make shooting such a pivotal part in today's league, it is crazy. I mean, the 3-point shot was looked at as kind of like a gimmick thing back then, but Steph has made it to where if you can't shoot, you have to have something else that you do in an elite level to at least be in the league. I mean, look at Derrick Rose. Derrick Rose has been bouncing from team to team to team, not just because of injuries, but because he can't shoot. And because of the fact that he can't shoot, Combined with injuries and the loss of athleticism, he's been bouncing from team to team to team. I mean, it sucks, but Steph Curry has put a lot of players out of a job. I mean, that's really what it comes down to, and Steph Curry's impact is just ridiculous, and I give him all the props in the world because these kids, when you go to the gym, they're shooting threes. That's really all they want to do now because let's be real, with someone like Steph Curry, who has just been one of the most dominant players that I think we've ever seen, and yes, I'm going to say that, one of the most dominant players we've ever seen, because we have to consider the fact that he is showing us how to dominate the NBA without being physical. He doesn't have to be physical. He dominates from behind the three-point line, and it's crazy. Now, the next question that we're going to go on to is from Athletic Affairs. He asked, who is my favorite non-NBA YouTuber? Now, I just kind of wanted to answer this because I want to kind of give you guys a little bit of my story outside of basketball, because everybody just knows me from basketball, NBA, and all that stuff. So let me just talk about something that's outside of basketball for 1 second. And my favorite non-NBA YouTuber is Pagey, because a lot of people don't know him, but actually a lot of people do. He has a hella subs, but for those who don't know, he is a YouTuber who reviews shows about things like The Flash and Arrow and Legends of Tomorrow, and he does a little bit of Supergirl, but I don't really watch Supergirl that much. Yes, I'm a big DC fan. I'm a big fan of Marvel as well, even though the Marvel comics aren't doing that great right now, but the movies, the MCU, they are killing it. Unlike the opposite of DC, which they are complete trash right now. But yeah, I'm a big fan of DC, in the comics at least, and the shows, the Arrowverse, they are killing it. I enjoy Arrow, I enjoy Flash. I didn't enjoy Arrow season 4 or season 3. I didn't enjoy Flash season 3. But I am loving what they're doing right now. Shout out to DeVoe. DeVoe is killing it. Shout out to Ricardo Diaz. He is killing it. And also shout out to the Legends, because the Legends, their season finale is coming up next week. I am so tuned into that, and that is going to be something that I will love. I'm sure they will kill it. I'm so hyped for that, and I'm just a big fan of the comics, and I hate what they're doing in the movies because the movies could be so much better, and I hate them. But shout out to Pagey, because Pagey reviews each and every episode of all 3 of those shows, Legends, Arrow, and Flash, and he just does such a great job, and he gives me a lot of insight on some of these characters that I didn't know too much about in the comics. Like, I didn't know too much about Steel, or I didn't know too much about the Arrow even, because I wasn't that big on Green Arrow in the comics, even though Green Arrow is just one of those people in the comics who, because of the fact that he doesn't really have his own main villains aside from Malcolm and Deathstroke, I guess, it just isn't somebody that I'm really tuned into. So I love Page's analysis because he is a big Green Arrow fan. So that is one of the reasons why he is my favorite non-NBA YouTuber. Now, the next question we are going to address has to be, I'm sorry if I mispronounce your name, but I always see you under the comment and on Twitter. It is Musa Sissoko. And he said, which team do you think LeBron will join when the 2017-18 season is over? Now, honestly, I kind of want to make a video about this and answer this question, but it's kind of just out in the open at this point, because I think that LeBron, at this point in his career, just needs to stay in Cleveland, because at this point, what's the need for moving around team to team? He's way too old for that at this point. Stay with one team. If you have to take a pay cut, take a pay cut so they can sign somebody, you know. He's just too old at this stage in his career, and I understand the Celtics are coming up. Gordon Hayward will be back next year, and that might be the end of LeBron's dominance in the East, or at least getting to the finals by just destroying the Eastern Conference. But at this point, it's kind of just useless. When you look at players like Jordan and Kareem and Magic, at this late in their careers, they were already staying with one team. You don't need to be moving from team to team to team. You're not Vince Carter, okay? You are a legend. You're a top 5 player in NBA history. You don't need to be looking for the best scenario. And I understand if he wants to do it, I'm cool with him doing it. But it's just the fact that, like, where he is in his career, players don't really do that. And I understand players don't really exercise their free agency now the way they did back then, because the way players are exercising it now, they don't care. And I like that about this generation of players, and LeBron did lead the way in doing that when he went to Miami. But at this particular point in his career, I just think that LeBron kind of just needs to to chill, just relax. Your legacy is what it is, and I just don't think any other scenario will give him a chance to beat the Warriors, at least financially, because financially they're just not possible. So I just don't think that LeBron will go anywhere. That's my prediction for it, and I might make a video to go in depth a bit more, but you guys stay tuned for that. But that was a good question, Athletic Affairs. Now the next question is kind of tied into that, because this question is going to be related into one of the teams that LeBron is rumored to go to, and that is about the Rockets, and it is from Thames, King Temmie 17. Shout out to you, Temmie. He said, what free agent will sign with the Rockets next season? Now, honestly, that question is something that I kind of just don't know, because when you look at the Rockets and what they have versus what they need, it's kind of hard to tell what they need until we finish out this season, because right now they look phenomenal. Shout out to the Rockets. They've won over 60 games. They clinched the first seed, home court advantage throughout the playoffs. They've just been great, and I give them all the props in the world. Hopefully they don't mess it up in the playoffs. James Harden. And my thing is, though, I look at the Rockets and I just don't know, because when you look at the free agents next season, you have Paul George, LeBron James, and you also have DeAndre Jordan. I'll get to DeAndre in a minute. Paul George joining the Rockets, I don't know. I don't know if that's going to happen, honestly. When you look at LeBron James joining the Rockets, I just addressed why I don't think LeBron should go to the Rockets and why I think he should stay in Cleveland. And I just don't think financially, I'm not 100% sure, but I don't think financially they can even do that. But also, the other free agent, DeAndre Jordan, there are rumors that he wants to go to a Texas team at least, and the biggest team has to be the Rockets. But the problem is they have Clint Capella, who does exactly what DeAndre Jordan does, on a lesser scale, of course. But the problem with that is, DeAndre Jordan, are you willing to pay him all that money just to do a little bit better than Clint Capella, when Clint Capella is younger and you can pay him less? But it's up to the Rockets. It really is just up to the Rockets on what they do here, because honestly, I don't know what they're going to do, because it's up in the air. It's up in the air. Now the next question is from Chris Davis, and when I read the question, you'll see why I said series. He asked, which playoff series in the first round could be a potential upset? Honestly, which series could be a potential upset? I think that the Celtics and the 76ers, if they ever met each other in the first round, depending on how the seeding is, I don't really know if it's possible now. But if you follow me on Twitter, you know that was one of the big predictions I had for the rest of the season. I said that the Sixers and the Celtics would meet in the playoffs and in the first round, and the Sixers would end up beating the Celtics. If they did have a series, I could see it going to 6 or 7 games, and I could just see the 76ers just dominating them, and especially on the boards, because Embiid is such a monster. Now, the injury to Embiid, I'm sure he'll be back for the first round, and Ben Simmons is doing great without him right now, which is one of the biggest knocks on Ben Simmons this season, and one of the reasons why people support Donovan Mitchell as Rookie of the Year. Which I'll make a video about, because someone did ask me who I think is going to be the Rookie of the Year. The reason I'm not going to answer that is because I'll make a video about it. But Ben Simmons, the thing about Ben Simmons that a lot of people have been knocking him for is the fact that Ben Simmons can't win without Embiid. But right now, he's been doing great. They're on a winning streak, even though I know part of that winning streak comes from when he was playing with Embiid. But the 76ers have put themselves in a good situation. Win or lose in the playoffs, they have accomplished a lot this year. But I do believe the Sixers and the Celtics, that is a big upset in the first round. Well, actually, it's not that big of an upset considering the matchup problems that the Sixers will give the Celtics, but it is what it is. Now, the next question on Twitter says, do I think Jello Ball will make the NBA? I'm not going to spend much time with this. Maybe, and it's a slight chance that he gets picked up in free agency because he has declared for the draft, but more than likely he will not get drafted. If he will, it'll be a second round pick. Yeah, that's really my thoughts on LiAngelo Ball. The next question is on Twitter, and it says, where do I think Steph and KD will rank all time when they retire? This is tough. I think Steph right now is definitely locked in top 25 player, top 30 player at least in NBA history, as well as KD. I think right now Steph is higher than KD though. Sorry, but yeah, he's higher than KD because you have to consider that Steph did more in a shorter period of time than KD has in his whole entire career. Now, I understand later on, I think KD will overtake Steph. Clearly, obviously, he's the best player on the team. He's going to get the finals MVPs. Both of them aren't winning any more MVPs. And honestly, I do think the biggest harp on Steph's career, because if Steph had won a finals MVP and didn't choke in 2016, if he had just won what he was supposed to win, Steph, who knows how high he would be right now. That's just ridiculous. But KD, I think KD could crack top 10. He definitely can crack top 10. And with the championships that he most likely will get, it's going to be ridiculous. So yeah, those are my thoughts on that. And the next question involves a former teammate of Kevin Durant. And it says, will James Harden ever win a ring for Houston? And sorry, but no, because if James Harden doesn't win this year, I don't see James Harden ever winning. And honestly, I don't think he's going to win this year. So yeah, sorry about that. Now, the next question is from Snapchat, and it says, well, before I even read the question, it's from Hartley St. Hubert. Sorry if I mispronounced any of you guys' names, by the way, but it says T-Mac or Iverson. And you actually asked two questions, but I'll just answer this one because the next one, I believe I made a video about that. It's about Howard being a Hall of Famer. I made a video about that in my surprises video, so you guys go check that out. But T-Mac or Iverson, I think it's kind of insulting to even ask that question. I'm sorry, but it has to be clearly Iverson. T-Mac never even touched the second round of the playoffs. So I just don't think it's even fair to compare those two. T-Mac, the problem with T-Mac is that we focus on what he could have been instead of what he was. And the problem with that is you overlook all of his failures just to look at his potential successes. And honestly, that is a big problem because at the end of the day, T-Mac just didn't do it. Let's focus on what people just don't do, because I see it a lot with LeBron fans. LeBron fans look at, but LeBron didn't have this help and that's why he lost in 07. But guess what? He wouldn't have got to the finals if he was in the West anyway. Let's just look at the fact that he lost. Okay, a loss is a loss. A choke is a choke. Now, I'm not turning this into a LeBron and MJ debate, which will be the last and final question. But, at the end of the day, T-Mac is just not on Iverson's level. Iverson took a team to the finals in the East, the same East that Tracy McGrady couldn't get out of the first round. So, at the end of the day, it is what it is. And T-Mac is just not better than Iverson. Iverson's a top 50 player of all time. T-Mac isn't even top 50. So, we got to kind of just look at Iverson and at least give him some props. He's an MVP. Come on now. T-Mac, sure, he was an MVP candidate for some years, but he was never on teams that were even contenders. So it was clear that his MVP candidacy was just based off of his numbers scoring wise. So Allen Iverson is clearly a better player. Allen Iverson clearly has a better legacy. So to me, it's just kind of disrespectful to ask T-Mac or Iverson. Now the next question is from Basketball Everything. And he said, what is your favorite childhood show? Or I'm assuming you said, what was my favorite childhood show? Well, my favorite childhood show growing up had to be the Teen Titans, because like I said, I was a big comic book fan, not gonna lie to you, and just watching Robin and Starfire and Raven, Cyborg, Beast Boy, and even when you want to throw in Kid Flash when he showed up, and Arsenal, all those guys, Speedy, Aqualad, who was just amazing every time he was even on the screen. But I just loved the show because it was amazing to see all these characters that I had read about on the actual screen. That's one of the reasons why I hate, and I will say this forever till the day I go to the grave, I hate the Lightning Thief movies, because those movies were trash. The first one, it was passable, it was decent, but the second one was garbage. First of all, the CGI was trash, and secondly, it did not match the book. It was not even what I wanted. It was just garbage. That's one of the reasons why I love Teen Titans, one of the reasons why I hate that series, and one of the reasons why I hate the Justice League movies. But I'm not going to get into that because I tend to ramble, and I will be here forever if I talk about why I hate those series. But on to the next question, which is from KD the GOAT. And this will be the final question of the Q&A, and I'm glad I saved this for last because he asked, what is my all-time starting five? Now, this is a really difficult question because just because someone is better at a certain position doesn't mean I want them in my starting five. Let's just get that out the way, because I'm going to put my favorites, not going to lie to you. But my all-time starting five at the point, obviously, I'm sorry, I got to go with Magic. I mean, I know that's a very prototypical answer, but I'm going to go with Magic Johnson because Magic Johnson was just ridiculously tall for any point guard, and the fact that he's the only point guard to average double-digit assists in the playoffs and the regular season to win a championship shows it's because of his height. And he was just an amazing player, could play 1 through 5. He did play 5 in the NBA Finals and put up ridiculous numbers. And also at the 2, I'm gonna have to go with the one and only Michael Jordan, Air Highness himself, MJ, the GOAT. I'm sorry, I gotta go with Michael Jordan. His killer instinct is just phenomenal, and the fact that he did extend his career to the point where he could add the three-point shot a bit more consistently, so I do have some type of spacing. And he's one of the greatest defenders at the 2-guard position of all time, defensive player of the year, two-way player. And then at the 3, I'm going with the one and only, you guys know, LeBron James. LeBron James, one of the greatest players ever. You can make the case the greatest player, one of the greatest passers of all time. It is not even that close when you compare him to some of these other elite point guards of all time. It's crazy because he's up there. He's top 10, at least in my opinion. He's one of the top 10 passers of all time. If he's not, then at least top 15. One of the most versatile defenders as well in his prime was locking up Pau Gasol. And then at the 4, the power forward position, that's a really, really tough one. I'm going to have to go with Dirk Nowitzki. Now, the reason I'm going to go with Dirk is because it is a starting 5. Like I said, it is my team. I'm not saying he's the best at the power forward position of all time. Obviously, you have Tim Duncan. Obviously, you have players like Kevin Garnett. But Dirk Nowitzki's spacing of the court, I need it. I mean, if I have a starting 5 with Magic, Jordan, and LeBron, I'm gonna need some shooters, especially when it comes to LeBron James, because what's the key for LeBron James' success? Spacing, and some more spacing. So when it comes to the 4, I'm gonna have to go with Dirk. And then now at the 5, I gotta go with my man Hakeem the Dream Olajuwon. And when I look at this lineup, I gotta round it out with him because he gets boards at an elite level, defends possibly the greatest throughout NBA history on the defensive side of the ball. Offensively, he scores at an elite level. He can do everything. He can pass out of the post as well. And honestly, Hakeem is just gotta be the choice because in my opinion, I believe he's top 5 or at least top 10 in terms of skill throughout history as an individual talent. And I think he just has everything. If he had more help, he would be higher on the all-time list. And it sucks that he's not even top 4 in the center position. It's crazy how stacked and how top heavy the center position is. And if he had more help, he would be higher on that list. But sadly, you know, Ralph Sampson just couldn't stay healthy and he just wasn't given enough talent to surround him. But he had enough talent to at least get him 2 back-to-back championships. But I have to put him at the 5 position. So rounding out this starting 5, I think I did pretty good because at the 1, we have Magic. The 2, we got Michael Jordan. At the 3, we got LeBron. 4, we got Dirk, and at the 5, we got Hakeem. Now, keep in mind, like I said before, this does not mean they're the best at the position. This is just who I want starting at the position. All right, so that should be the end of this Q&A. And like I said, guys, thank you for all the support for getting me here to 10K. Thank you for the likes, the retweets, the follows. Also for the subscribers, of course, because y'all made this possible. It doesn't matter if I know you or not. Thank you. And also, you guys, make sure you follow me on Twitter because that is how people ask me questions. You can ask me questions on a daily basis as well at me, and I will respond to everybody possible. And also, you guys, make sure you follow me on Instagram and add me on Snapchat as well because a few questions did come from Snapchat, and I want to make sure everybody gets their voice heard next time. So without further ado, you guys, make sure you have a great day. This is your boy Young Mustard signing out. Peace. I go Komaro, I go Koro, I go Komaro, I go Koro, I go all the way from Agodo. Now we 50 floors up in my condo. Money motor like Irodo. Now I wanna show you my logo.